Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all. Okay, today we're going to do the discussion for topic 2. Okay, so please throughout the discussion, okay, tolong check jawapan masing-masing, right? If you make mistakes, make sure you do the corrections in red pen. Okay, tolong jangan padam jawapan asal kamu and gantikan dengan jawapan yang sebenar so that when you submit the tutorials to me, right, it is the original set or original answer. Okay, so I don't want you to do a new set of answers yang dengan jawapan yang betul. Okay, just leave it as it is. Okay, just betulkan saja. If you have any corrections, just write in red pen so that I know that's the correction for the particular questions. Okay, yang kedua, make sure if you answer your tutorials, okay, you are not supposed to use pencil. Okay, so it's either blue pen or black pen only, right? And the corrections is to be made by red pen. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to share the screen. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Okay, this is question 3. Okay, okay, this is question 3. All right, saya dah suruh you all just like tag on the question itself, right? Yes, okay, so number 1 is accounts receivable. Okay, it's assets. And then we have accounts payable, liabilities. Okay, bank loan is also liabilities, right? It can be short term, it can be long terms, okay, depending on the question itself. Okay, equipment is also asset, capital is equity, salaries expense is expenses, okay. Salaries payable, on the other hand, salaries payable is liabilities, okay. And then you have cash and bank, which is your assets. Revenue receivable, that is also asset. Interest revenue. Okay, utilities expense and insurance expense, that is expenses. Prepaid insurance is asset. Notes payable is liabilities. Notes receivable is asset. And then you have service revenue, which is your revenue. Okay, and then we have drawings, equity. Advertising expense is also expenses. Okay, advertising payable is liabilities. Then you have unearned revenue. It's your liabilities as well. Okay, there's a typo here. All right, okay, and then you have land, assets. Commission revenue is your revenue. Supplies is asset. Supply expense is expenses. Okay, and then number 26, sales is revenue. Purchases is expense. Okay, inventory is asset. Rent revenue is revenue. Unearned rent revenue is liabilities. Interest expense is expense. Interest payable is liabilities. Bad debts expense is also expense. Depreciation expense, from the word itself, it helps you to classify, which is also expense. And then we have buildings asset. Free in and free out is expenses. Okay, free in is expenses that is incurred when you do purchases, and free out is expenses that is incurred when you do your sales. Okay, it's angkutan masuk and angkutan keluar lah. So why do you angkut the items dibawa masuk ke perniagaan? Because you purchase the items or the merchandise. Okay, and in order to sell the items to your customer, okay, or to your debtors, you need to free out, angkut keluar. Okay, so these both are expenses. Okay, it's just that the expenses are incurred during different activities. Okay, 38 is prepaid rental, which is asset. Okay, and then you have property, plant and equipments, PPE, okay, which is also asset. And then we have sales discount, expense, purchase discounts, that is revenue. Okay, and then you have shares. Okay, shares is equity because it depends on the question itself. Okay, if the share belongs to your own company, that means the share is your equity. Tapi if the shares is shares bought from other companies, that will be your long-term investment. Okay. And then 43, we have long-term investment, which is asset. Okay. And then vehicles and patents, also asset. It's just that vehicles is tangible assets. Okay. Fixed item, fixed asset, and patents is intangible asset. Okay. That is for number 3. Okay. We go through the questions. The next question, which is question 5. Okay. Soalan 5. The owner brings in 10,000 cash into the business. Okay, dia bawa masuk 10,000 ke dalam perniagaan. Alright, so that means asset dia akan bertambah because the money goes in right into the asset account. Okay, and at the same time you brought in the money into the business, which is you are increasing your capital. Okay, so that's why kita akan plus asset and kita akan plus the owner's equity. Okay, all right, open a business account at Maybank with RM 4,000 cash. Okay, so that means kita ada duit cash in our business. Okay, and kita akan send we are going to open the accounts, okay, in the bank. Okay, that means dia akan bergerak lah from the cash accounts to the bank accounts. That's why kita akan ada minus and plus. Okay, which is minus cash accounts and then plus bank accounts. Okay. All right. Okay, next, we are going to do number 3. Okay, provide services to customers named Mr. Ali worth 950 with the promise of paying it next month. Okay, all right. So you provide services to customers, okay, named Mr. Ali worth 950. Okay, so that means the services has been rendered. Jadi revenue dah boleh tambah. Okay, and at the same time you're supposed to receive the money, cuma dia belum buat bayaran. So that 950 will go into your accounts receivable. That is actually your asset. That's why kita akan plus dekat asset and kita akan plus juga dekat owner's equity. Right? Okay, and next, a debtor settles RM 150 debt with a check. Okay, so dia bayar hutang. That means prior, the debtor is already in debt with us with the amount of 150. So at this moment, he is actually paying us. Okay, so bila dia bayar, duit akan masuk dekat accounts. Tapi dekat sini dia bayar melalui check. So account bank akan increase, tambah. Okay, and at the same time, your accounts receivable akan reduce ataupun decrease. Okay, so you akan plus your bank account and then you akan minus your accounts receivable. Sorry. Okay. Okay, next, the owners withdraws cash, okay, from the business for personal use. Okay, so bila kita tahu this for personal use, that means it is actually drawings. Okay, so dekat sini dia withdraw money. Okay, so bila dia withdraw money, that means your cash will decrease. Okay, so your asset akan minus. Okay, and on the other hand, because you are doing drawings, it will reduce or decrease your owner's equity or capital. So we are going to minus at the owner's equity column as well. Okay, so salary expense, okay, bayar gaji kepada pekerja. Okay, so minus dekat cash, and this is expenses. So kita akan minus the owner's equity as well. Alright, okay, next. Number 7, you receive a utility bill of RM500, but will only be paid the following month. Okay, so we already received the bill. Okay, bila kita dah receive bill, that means kita sudah menggunakan belanja tersebut. The expenses has been incurred, so you are supposed to recognize the expenses. Okay, bila kita recognize expenses, maksudnya kita akan minus the owner's equity. It's just that the payment hasn't been made. Okay, so bila belum dibayar, dia akan jadi expense payable. Belanja belum bayar. Belanja belum bayar is liability. Okay, so that means bila saya belum bayar bill tersebut, liability saya akan meningkat. So we will increase our liability. Okay, all right. Next, a customer has paid RM500 for services that will be provided next month. Okay, so services hasn't been rendered, belum dijalankan lagi, belum delivered to the customer, tapi customer dah bayar duit pada kita. Okay, so when you receive the money, okay, at that point, you are increasing your asset sebab cash bertambah. Alright, but you must remember, okay, kerja belum buat. So in a way, actually, you are in debt. Okay, awak berhutang dengan customer because the services hasn't been rendered yet. Okay, so liability pun akan bertambah. Okay, alright. Number 9, purchase furniture for business premises worth 7,000 on credit. Okay, so bila kita purchase furniture, that means asset akan bertambah. Okay, tapi sebab you berhutang, it's on credit. It's either on credit or on accounts. That means the term is in debts lah. Okay, that is actually credit terms, right? So bila kita berhutang, your liability will also increase. Okay, number 10, provide billing services of RMs. Provide billing services of RM1,500 to customers for services that has been given. Okay, so the services has been delivered or has been rendered. Okay, selepas kamu selesai buat kerja, okay, you gave a bill to the customer. Kita billkan customer tadi, tapi payments has not been made yet. Belum bayar. Cuma kerja dah buat dan kita dah bagi dia bill. So bila kita dah bagi dia bill, that means dia yang berhutang dengan kita. So your accounts receivable will increase. At the same time, services has been rendered. Kerja dah buat. So saya dah boleh declare dia sebagai revenue. That's why kita akan plus juga di owner's equity. Okay, alright. Number 11, you took a loan from Bank Rakyat worth RM20,000. Okay, so RM20,000 worth of loan. That means bila kita pinjam duit daripada bank, you will receive the money. Okay, plus 20,000 cash. But at the same time, alright, you are actually owing the bank. Okay, so when you owe the bank, okay, that means your liability has increases as well. Okay, so plus your liability and plus your cash as well, okay, which is your asset. Okay, next one. The next question. Okay, all right. Number 6. Okay. okay, what effect, okay, the transaction has given to your accounts. Okay, so for number 6, the first transaction. Okay, we look at the first one. Okay, the first question is, I go back to number 6 here. All right. Okay, so this is number 6. Okay, number 1, you make cash investment to start business, purchase equipments on accounts, paid salaries, okay, build customer for services performed, all right, and then receive cash from customers, build in number 4, okay, and then withdraw cash for owner's personal use. Number 7 is incurred advertising expense on account, and then purchase additional equipments for cash and receive cash from customer when services are performed. Okay, so back to my answer just now, all right? Okay, so for number 1, okay, we increase our asset and we increase our owner's equity at the same time. Okay, and number 2, you increase your assets and you also increase your liability. Okay. Number 3, you decrease your assets and you decrease your owner's equity. Okay, number 4, you increase your assets and you increase your owner's equity as well. Okay, number 5. Okay, we increase our assets and we decrease our asset at the same time. Okay, because you receive cash from customer billed in number 4. Billed, that means the item is really in your accounts receivable. So number 5, kita receive bayaran. So dalam masa yang sama, kita mengurangkan hutang pelanggan kepada kita. So that means your AR akan menurun, decrease, and your cash akan increase, bertambah. So that's why you nampak dekat number 5 ni, kita increase asset and kita decrease asset. Okay, number 6, kita decrease asset and then kita decrease owner's equity. Number 7, you increase your liability and also you decrease your owner's equity. Okay, number 8, we increase our assets and we decrease our assets. Okay, because you purchase additional equipments for cash. That means saya beli equipments. Equipment is actually your asset, so your asset increases. But at the same time, because the payment has been made by cash, that means kita mengurangkan cash account. Kita decrease our asset as well. Okay, and for number 9, you receive cash from customers when services was performed. So services dah dibuat, rendered, so your revenue bertambah. So kita increase our owner's equity. And at the same time, you rendered the services, the payment was paid to you by cash. So kita akan increase our asset. Okay, so that is for number 6. Okay, next question, number 7. Okay, the same situation, almost the same situation. Okay, number 1, kita increase asset and increase our liability. Number 2, you decrease your asset and you decrease your owner's equity. Number 3, you increase your asset and you decrease your asset as well. Okay, number 4, we are increasing our asset and we are increasing our owner's equity. Okay, number 5, you will decrease your asset and you will decrease your owner's equity. So number 6, okay, number 6 is invested an additional 25,000 in the business. Okay, that is additional capital. That's why we increase our owner's equity. And because the owner's equity is in a form of cash money, so you will also increase your asset. Okay, all right, number 7, paid bytes of data for the computer purchase in number 1. Okay, so number 1 tadi kita dah beli, but we haven't made any payments. So you are actually owing people. You increased your liability, but now you are making payments for the transaction. So you are decreasing your liabilities. And when you are making payments, you are also decreasing your asset. So duit kurang, hutang pun berkurang. Okay, so number 8, incurred advertising expense for May, 900 on accounts. On accounts, I mean it's on credit term. Okay, so kita dah berbelanja, okay, dah buat iklan and all. So you already spent. So the expenses must be recognized for May. Okay, so advertising expense kita akan tambah RM900. So that will decrease your owner's equity. And at the same time, you're supposed to pay them, right? But payments hasn't been made. Okay, so that is a hutang for you, a liability to you. That's why we will increase your liability and we will decrease your owner's equity. Okay, that is for number 7. Okay, all right, and number 8, I already discussed this during class. So we go next to number 9. Okay, soalan 9. Before that, I'm going to go back to the question. Okay, all right, this is number 9. Okay, so as you can see here, Su Feng opens her own law office. Okay, so the services is doing law practice. Okay, Syarikat Guaman. All right, so this is services company. All right, during the first month of the operations, the following transactions occurred. Okay, so ini adalah transaction sepanjang bulan Julai. Okay, so as you can see, the question dia cuma minta prepare a tabular analysis for the transaction. So you need to do the analysis in a form of tables. You can have either 3 columns only, which is asset equals to liability plus owner's equity, or you can actually use the same table as number 8. Okay, ini table frame yang dia bagi untuk nombor 8. Okay, can I use this table for number 9? Actually, you can. Okay, but you need to be sure that all items on the table is actually the same items that you will be using for number 9. Okay, so you need to go through the questions, pastikan betul ke semua account yang ada dalam soalan nombor 8 ni boleh diguna balik untuk soalan nombor 9. Sekiranya ada item yang tidak berkenaan, so that means you need to omit lah, buang. Okay, dan gantikan dengan account yang berkaitan. Okay, so let's say number 9 ni kita ada cash. Okay, so cash is there. Alright, and it's revenue. So we have that in our capital. So these are actually your assets. Okay, and this is your liability. Okay, plus owner's equity. So that is actually your accounting equations. Okay, all right, we go back to the question. Okay, so nombor 1, kita invested cash. Okay, so dia akan invest cash, alright, sebanyak 11,000. Okay, so dia invested, that means this is actually the capital. Okay, number 8, right, kita bayar RM800. Okay, so you paid 800, that means your cash decreases and you are paying for the office space. This is actually expenses. So expenses tu akan mengurangkan your capital. That will be deducted in the capital column. Okay, all right. So number 3, purchase equipment on account. Ini asset, on accounts, that means that is your liability. Okay, perform legal services. Kerja dah buat. Services has been rendered. That means this is your revenue. Okay, and cash has been paid. So this is your asset. All right. Okay, number 5, borrowed 700 cash from a bank on a note payable. Dia convert pinjaman tadi menjadi note payable. That is actually short-term liability ataupun current liability. Okay, so you borrowed cash, that means you receive the money. This will be your asset. At the same time, your liability pun terlibat. Okay, all right. Number 6, kita perform legal services. So that means the services has been rendered, tapi pelanggan belum bayar because the amount of 2,000 is actually on account. So revenue is declared, and at the same time, your asset also increased, but not in a form of cash, because cash money has not been received. So that 2,000 ringgit is actually your accounts receivable. Okay, and then number 7, kita bayar expenses. So you know the expenses is actually nilai yang akan ditolak di capital. So at the same time, because you are paying all the expenses in cash, so the cash money or the cash amount will be deducted. Okay, can I put 500, 300 and 100 ringgit together? That means I accumulate, tambah semua and jadikan dia satu amount saja. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that because the transaction incurred on the same day. Okay, but in my scheme later, you'll see I'll put all the items separately. Okay, so that I know which is which. Okay, but you can actually do it in one item. So you'll put the minus cash, which is 900, and also kita akan minus the capital, which is your expenses, with the same amount of 900 ringgit. And this is your drawings. Okay, all right. So for the answer for this, okay, so number 1, all right, Sue invested 11,000. Okay, so kita akan tambah, okay, 11,000 di cash, and kita akan tambah 11,000 di capital. Okay, so as you can see here, my table is slightly different from number 8, okay, and has more items compared to the previous one, right? So the one in orange is actually liability. Okay, and the one in yellow is actually owner's equity. So kita tahu capital kita akan plus, drawings kita akan minus, revenue kita akan plus, expenses kita akan minus. Okay, so this is for me to analyze the transactions in details lah. Okay, you can also use the 3 columns that I mentioned prior, which is asset equals to liability plus owner's equity. But asset equals to liability plus owner's equity, every time you do the analysis, you must also mention ataupun tulis nama account yang terlibat. Okay, so let's say you have asset is equals to liability plus owner's equity. So kalau pertambahan tu berlaku di asset, that means I will write cash plus 11,000 here. Okay, sorry, an extra 0 there. Okay. Okay, and then kita akan plus juga, okay, because this is services, right? Plus, okay, service revenue 11,000. Okay, for me, this is kind of tedious lah. Leceh sikit nak buat sebab every time you need to write down the ledger. So it is better for you to write the ledger prior in the respective column. So it's just easier for you just to add up with the figures related to the transaction given in question 9. Okay, all right. Nombor 2, paid 800 for rent. Okay, rent is expenses. Okay, so kita bayar sewa, kita akan tolak 800 from your cash, And because it is expenses, kita akan minus 800 di expenses. Kalau you only have one column which is your owner's equity or your capital, that means di column tersebut kita akan letak minus 800 as well. Okay, alright. Number 3, purchase equipment on accounts 3,000. Okay, so equipment tambah 3,000. Accounts payable because the purchase was on accounts, right? Credit terms. Okay, so belum bayar lagi, so dia akan jadi liability lah, plus 3,000. Okay, number 4, perform legal services for clients. Okay, service dah buat, jadi revenue bertambah, tetapi dia belum, dia dah bayar in cash. So I akan tambah 1,500 dekat cash and I tambah 1,500 di revenue. Okay, that is for number 4. Okay, number 5, you borrowed 700 in cash. So you dapat duit 700 ringgit. Okay, so 700 in your cash account. And at the same time, okay, you converted the loan into notes payable. So liability kamu bertambah 700 ringgit. Right? Okay, number 6, you perform legal services for client on account. So services dah buat. Jadi boleh declare. So revenue ada akan tambah di RM2,000 di revenue or di capital. Alright? Tapi duit belum terima, so you akan tambah 2,000 di accounts receivable. Okay? Alright, next, number 7, you paid monthly expenses. Okay, this item, it can be done separately ataupun you boleh letak sebagai satu amount. Either or is accepted. Okay, but for me, I would like to have it done separately so I can see lah. Okay, 500 is actually for my wages. Okay, 300 is for utilities and 100 is for advertising. Okay, boleh nak letak 900 terus tolak? Boleh, no problem. Alright. Okay, and then number 8, dia withdraw money for personal use. That is actually drawings, ambilan. So ambilan mengurangkan kita punya capital because it decreases your purchases, right? Okay, so kita akan minus 1,000. Okay, itu kalau merchandise lah, dia akan decreases your purchase. Okay, but in this question, it's cash money, right? So it decreases your capital. Okay, so kita akan minus 1,000 dekat cash and kita akan minus 1,000 di revenue. Okay, alright. Okay, so far we've done until number 9. Okay, so now we look at number 10. Okay, I go back to my question, number 10. Okay, this is question number 10. Okay, sorry. Okay, next, number 10. Okay, so these are the transaction for number 10. Okay, so we are supposed to do the table for number 10 as well. Okay, sebab kalau kita tengok question, the question asks you to do a tabular analysis. Okay, so boleh buat yang simple or you can do a complete one like the one that I showed you earlier. Okay, but I prefer to use the detailed one because it is easier for you to understand. All right, so my answer for number 10 is, okay, the first transaction, Okay, so yang warna kuning ni is liability Since only one liability, so I leave it as it is lah. Ada satu saja. So the rest yang dekat tepi tu, here, this part, this is actually your owner's equity. Okay, okay. Dalam letak color orange. So the one yang transparent ni, white color ni is actually your asset lah. Okay, so the first transaction, okay, is investment. Okay, the owner invested money into the business. So kita akan debit 20,000 di cash and debit 20,000 di capital. Okay, number 2, bought equipments on account. Alright, so kita akan tambah 5,000 sebab kita beli equipments. So asset bertambah. Alright, and at the same time you are paying for the equipment, so cash akan bertambah as well. Alright, okay, tetapi, alright, you need to understand, okay, dekat sini, you see the transaction is only on the left hand side, okay, which is cash 5,000, equipments 5,000. Okay, so that's why you don't see any transaction that is affecting the right hand side columns, which is your liabilities and owner's equity. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, kita tambah 2,000. Okay, this is actually number 3 Okay, so dia kata she paid half of the bill owed to the creditor. Okay, so this is number 10, right? Okay, sorry. I got the wrong question. Okay, so this is number 10. Okay, dia kata Forever Excellent buy stationaries. Okay, all right, so okay, hold on a second. Okay, so that is for number 3. And then number 4, kita rendered consultancy services dan receive money. Okay, all right. So this is for transaction 4. Okay, and then number 5, at the end of the month, Forever Excellent pays 2,500 salaries by cash to the staff. All right. So expenses akan minus 2,500 and cash also akan minus 2,500. Okay, and then number 6. Okay, Forever Excellent has rendered its consultancy services to another client. Okay, and we'll pay the bill of 6,000 later in March. Okay, so account receivable 6,000, revenue 6,000. Okay, and then number 7. All right, kita due to urgent needs, Ashraf withdraws 2,000 ringgit cash from Forever Excellent. Okay, so that is actually drawings. So kita akan minus 2,000 di cash and kita also akan minus 2,000 di drawings. Or if you don't have the drawings column, you only have the capitals or owner's equity, that 2,000 will be deducted from your capital column as well. Okay, all right. So number 11, kita cuma tunjuk effect to the owner's equity. Okay, so for number 11, so we are not showing any effects on asset and liability, only on owner's equity. Okay, soalan 1, the transaction will increased. Soalan 2, dia tak ada effect sebab he bought equipments on accounts. Dia beli asset on accounts secara berhutang. So that affect the asset and the liability accounts only. Okay, and then number 3, no effect as well. Number 4, increased the owner's equity. Number 5, until number 8, okay, we will decrease our owner's equity. Okay, so that is for number 11. Okay, next we go to number 12. Okay, so number 12, dia tak ada bagi, dia bagi you a table. Okay, so you need to record the effect on each transaction in the following table. Okay, so the one in yellow is actually your asset, and then accounts payable ialah liability, and capital is owner's equity lah. Alright. Okay, so we have the transaction on November 5th. Okay, that is modal. So 7,000 cash, 400 supplies. So your capital is actually 7,400. Okay, number 7, you receive 4,200 for services rendered. Okay, so nombor 7, okay, 4,200 for services rendered. This is number 7. Okay, number 9. Okay, purchase equipment on accounts, 3,700. Okay, so cash, it's on accounts, right? So accounts payable plus 3,700, equipment plus 3,700 as well. Okay, paid 750 for supplies. Okay, so kita bayar. So minus 750 the cash, and you bought supplies. Supplies is actually current assets. Okay, so kita akan plus 750 the assets. So negative, minus 750 plus 750, so dia jadi kosong balik lah, zero. So that's why you don't see any transaction di tempat lain, because the equation is back to normal, back to zero. Okay, alright. And then number 14, paid salaries. Okay, so kita bayar gaji, kita minus cash, and that is actually your expenses. So kita minus the capital as well. Okay, bayar, paid 3,500 untuk asset. Okay, sebab beli land. So cash akan keluar and tanah akan tambah 3,500, sorry. Okay, murah betul tanah ni. Okay, 17, paid 2,000 ringgit on accounts from November 9th transaction. So November 9 transaction, okay, is this one. Okay, and then on the 20th, paid RM 300 supplies and 700 for equipments. Okay, so 300 for your supplies. All right. Sorry, number 19, it's paying utilities. Okay, that is 200. Okay, and number 20, you paid 300 for your supplies and 700 for your equipment. So dekat cash ni akan minus 1,000 ya. Sebab 300 you are actually paying for your supplies and 700 you are actually paying for your equipments. Okay, so the payment, the total is 1,000 ringgit. That's why kita nampak dekat column cash tu, you deducted 1,000 ringgit. Okay, alright. And then 21st, you receive 4,700 for services rendered. Okay, service dah buat. So capital akan tambah 4,700 and payment has been received. So plus 4,700 di cash. Okay, so on the 25th, kita withdraw, that is drawings. Okay, cash akan keluar 2,000, capital pun akan keluar 2,000. Okay, on the 30th, inventory of supplies showed 600 of supplies on hand. Okay, baca soalan betul-betul lah. Okay, dia bagi tahu pada hujung bulan, the supplies yang ada di tangan, that means baki ya, hanya tinggal 600. Okay, so you go back here, this column. Okay, as you can see, masa kamu beli supplies, you bought 3 times. The first one is brought in when you invested the capital. Okay, so supplies kita ada 400, 750 and also 300. Okay, so that is actually, okay, 400, 750 and 300. So that is actually 1,450. Ini jumlah yang ada dah dibeli. Okay, tetapi towards the end of the month, okay, sebab supplies ni kita pakai one off you pakai and then habis, dikira sebagai expenses, dah digunakan. Okay, so bila you check balik you punya stock, okay, your supplies cuma ada 600 saja. So that means ada yang telah digunakan. Betul? So out of 1450 ni, kalau tinggal 600 saja dekat tangan, that means kita dah guna 850. Okay, 850 ni kita dah tolak, dah guna. So bila kita dah tolak, kita dah guna, that is actually your expenses and dia akan mengurangkan asset as well. Okay, so 600 yang ada dalam soalan tu is not how much that is not the amount that you spent atau you guna, but it's actually your last balance, baki di tangan. So we need to find how much supplies we've used, yang telah digunakan, yang dibelanjakan. Okay, so that is why on the 30th, okay, kita akan minus supplies 850 and kita akan minus dekat capital 850. Sebab tu, bila you tengok 400 plus 750 plus 300 minus 850, baki di tangan tinggal 600. Okay, that is what is meant by the question lah. Okay, itu maksud soalan di nombor 12. Okay, alright. So that is for number 12. Okay, now we go to number 13. Okay, number 13 is more or less the same. Cuma dia buat table yang simple macam ni and you need to write which item is involved ataupun affected by the transaction. Okay, alright. So I'm just going to show you the answers. Okay, June 1st, cash akan tambah 2,200, equipment akan tambah 3,500, capital plus 5,700. Okay, sebab we invested the capital in a form of cash and also equipment. Okay, 5 hari bulan terima duit untuk servis, maksudnya revenue ada. Okay, cash pun ada. Okay, tambah-tambah. Okay, 7 hari bulan receive for loan care service. Loan, the one that is written here is not loan ya, this is loan. Dia buat perkhidmatan membersihkan rumput. Okay, pembersihan rumput. So dia potong rumput lah, lawn mower tu kan. Okay, so ni servis yang ditawarkan. So that's why kita tulis lawn services. Kalau dia lawyer tadi, dia consultation service. Okay, so it can be the revenue service pun boleh, service revenue pun boleh terima jugalah. Okay, alright. It's just that I just need to be detailed here, so that's why I put lawn services. Lawn ni tanah, lawn ni ialah padang rumput right? Okay, number 7, receive 1,100. Okay, so this is for number 7. Okay, number 11, purchase equipment. Bayar cash 1,000 and 1,000 lagi hutang. So cash kita akan minus 1,000. Okay, and then equipments kita plus 2,000 sebab kita beli equipment tadi nilai dia RM2,000 tapi 1,000 lagi belum bayar. So that is your liability, RM1,000 in your notes payable. Okay, alright. 15, paid gas bills. Gas bills is actually minyak lah sebab ini US punya soalan. So they call it gas. Okay, so you can write that expenses pun saya terima. So kita bayar belanja 275. Okay, so kita minus cash, kita minus expenses di owner's equity. Okay, alright. 19, drawings. Okay, and then on the 21st, beli supplies tapi belum bayar. So 100 is on your liability. Another RM100 will be recorded in your assets column. Okay, and then 25th, we paid 400 on outstanding note. Okay, untuk transaction 11 hari bulan. So 11 hari bulan ni, kamu ada hutang 1,000. So now you are paying 400. Tak bayar semua bayar 400 je. So just now you owed on notes payable. So now we are paying the notes payable with the amount of RM400. So kita minus 400 from your cash and kita minus 400 from your notes payable as well. Okay, dan 30, kita buat launch service lagi sekali. So kita tambah 925 di revenue and tambah 925 di cash. Okay, alright, so that is for number 13. Okay, and then the last question is number 14. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the answers. Okay, so nombor 14, mulakan perniagaan. Okay, Julai 1. Nombor 5, Julai 5, purchase cleaning supplies tapi belum bayar. That's why kita ada accounts payable. Alright. And then number 7, you receive money for cleaning services. Kerja dah buat So you write there 2,700. I am using the words in the bracket which is fees income. Sebab tu madam tulis kat sini fees income. Boleh tak tulis service revenue? Boleh, no problem. Alright. So this is cash 2,700 and service revenue or fees income 2,700 as well. Okay. Alright. And then on the 9th, bayar cash 200. Okay. Of this 300 owed for the purchase of cleaning supplies from July 5th. Okay. So July 5th ni kita ada hutang 300 and then pada Julai 9 kita buat bayaran. So that's why kamu nampak dekat sini kita minus accounts payable RM200. Okay, alright. And then 13, you are paying for the rent. Rent is expenses. Okay, number 15, you are paying for the wages ataupun upah pekerja. Number 21, kita beli mesin baru tapi on account. Okay, so machine is actually your equipments lah ataupun machinery because the question itself they only give you equipments, right? So kita akan plus 3,000 di equipments and kita akan plus 3,000 di accounts payable which is your liability sebab bayaran belum dibuat, masih berhutang lah. And the last one is drawings. Okay, so this is for number 14. Okay, so you can please, you can already check all your answers. Okay, sekiranya jawapan kamu tidak betul, okay, just tulis je dekat tepi tu using a red pen. Or let's say you tak sempat jawab pun, you write the answers given by me in red pen as well. Jangan tulis dengan pen biru sebab you tak buat apa-apa lagi. That is considered pembetulan lah. Okay, and I do not want you to do a new set of tutorial answers with the correct answers. Okay, just leave it as it is. Hantar saja yang mana telah kamu siapkan setakat kita bincang pagi ni. Okay, sekiranya ada banyak silap, that is for me to do something about it lah. Okay, so I just want to see how well you do with your tutorial. Okay, jangan hantar tutorial yang cantik-cantik yang dah dibetulkan sebab I won't know how well you are actually coping with the tutorial. Okay, so saya nak tahu your actual performance, so you please send to me tutorial yang dah dibetulkan. Sekiranya ada kesilapan, you betulkan dengan pen merah. Kalau tak sempat jawab, you jawab dengan jawapan yang saya bagi hari ini dengan pen merah. But you are not supposed to send to me a blank paper saying that you cannot do the tutorials and you leave it blank. Okay, so I've given you the answer today. So you can please check your answers. Lepas tu tengok kat mana yang kamu silap and why you are making the mistakes. Okay, alright. So that is all for today. Okay, so please submit to me the tutorial tomorrow morning. Okay, that's all. Okay, and thank you. Assalamualaikum.